Dumelang, Sanbonani, Molweni. Good afternoon. Goeiemiddag. It is so good to be with you today, and so good to be here with our provincial chairperson and our chairperson of the Youth Forum. We praise God for their return to us, and we thank you all for your prayers that brought them home. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to talk a little bit about this poster that we are unveiling today. And this poster is going to be an important message to the people of Gauteng. And I would ask that my colleagues on either side display the poster now for you all to see. What this poster says to the people of Gauteng is it's time to try a different way. They have seen coalitions led by yellow, and they have seen those coalitions fail. They have seen governments led by blue, and they have seen those governments fail. It is now time to see governments led by ActionSA. And that is why we say to the people of Gauteng, let action lead. And we don't say this because we are simply wanting to be elected into power. We're saying this because unlike so many other political parties, we are a 3-year-old party. We haven't failed South Africans in the way that old political parties have failed South Africans. We are new and we are here to bring change. But we also have a track record, and that sets us apart from any other new political party. The time when government worked the best in this province was in Johannesburg between 2016 and 2019, when this gentleman here, the president of our party, was the mayor of Johannesburg, and the premier candidate of Gauteng was his deputy. It was a complicated coalition, but it worked. And most importantly, it didn't just work for the politicians, it worked for the people of Johannesburg. We saw corruption being fought not with words, but with actions. When a former Scorpion was put in charge of investigating over 6,000 cases of corruption, totaling more than 35 billion rand. We saw a metro police force that was expanded by over 50% overnight, and suddenly the police was something to be felt in Johannesburg. We saw the roads being resurfaced, the pipes being replaced. People were getting more electricity and not less. The water was coming out of the pipes when they opened the taps, and services were starting to be delivered. It was that government that electrified Kliptown, the home of the Freedom Charter, all those years after 1994. Not the ANC, it was under Herman Mashaba that electricity was given to the people of Kliptown. And we are saying to the people of Gauteng today, if you are tired of the old politics, if you're tired of the failed leadership, and if you're tired of the coalitions that is all about the politicians and not about the people of this province, let action lead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our Slalo National Chairperson, Michael Beaumont. As Michael touched on a very important factor, which is water. He said, with ActionSA, as in 2016, when our president was the executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg, water was coming out of the taps. Do we have water today? Electricity was given to the people of Kliptown. If you go to Kliptown today, it's a sad situation. After the executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg, who was the mayor in 2016, left the city of Johannesburg, the people in Kliptown got forgotten by this very government that promised to liberate me and you. Amasela mawahambe. All right, thank you so much, colleagues. Moving on to the next segment of our program, I would like to call the incoming Premier of Gauteng, the man who gives Panyaza Lusufi a tough time because siyangena legislature, siyangena. I would like to call Funzi, and Funzi will be sharing his plans to lead the Gauteng coalition. Premier candidates, please come close. While he's coming to the stage in Galankaleni Ingoma, that will shake all of us here that we forget the incident Zolo. Sianda, please start a song, my leader. Dumela, Dumela, Dumela. Yes, it's
No, thank you very much, colleagues. Thank you very much, Program Director. I thought my remarks earlier on will have covered me and I wouldn't be called back, but I think it's important to highlight why we are here today and what is the symbolism of being here today as well. Because last night's event, as I said earlier on, is clearly a reminder for us that South Africans are exposed to crime in the harshest way that you can imagine. Here in Gauteng, it's even worse because Gauteng is an epicenter of all kinds of corruption, all kinds of crime that are happening here. You can talk about the Zamazamas, you can talk about the hijacking, you can talk about gender-based violence, you can talk about the hijacking of buildings. All types of criminality is happening here. You can talk about the illegal immigration itself. Illegal immigration is a crime. So all kinds of corruption are centered here in Gauteng. So part of this unveiling of the slogan that we will unveil today is to say South Africans must give us a mandate to be able to get more than 50% in this province so that we can implement our policy on law and order in this province. And the President will talk more about that, but this province needs law and order. But also this province needs us to start reigniting the infrastructure development that we saw lack here in Gauteng. So we want to make sure that when we take power, President, from the 29th of May, immediately when we set our foot into government, we must hit the ground running. We must not waste time, and because time doesn't wait for us. We don't want to be like the ANC. When it becomes clear that now elections are 2 months to go, then they start unleashing all kinds of programs to try and buy the voters to vote for them using state resources. So let's make sure that from the word go, when we hit that office, we also hit the ground running, delivering service to our people so that they can give us another mandate after 5 years to deliver more service. Because it's only when we deliver service to them that the residents will then give us another mandate. And we wouldn't have to go and buy them with nasi span. We didn't have to go and buy them with food parcels. We didn't have to go and buy them with the transformers. Important things that they need, and which they need even before elections. So we must deliver all those things. Jobs, load shedding must be done within 2 years. We must make sure that service delivery is top, especially where ActionSA is running the province. We must make sure that all the municipalities that falls under ActionSA province, they deliver to their residents. Those municipalities that are failing to deliver on their mandate, as ActionSA will be very quick to go and intervene legally and put those municipalities into administration. Even before that, we'll also assist them with more skills, with more expertise, so that they can be able to turn around the situation. We know what are the problems in municipalities. Some of us who have worked in those municipalities within Tate Mashaba, and we know how to turn them around. We know how Tshwane can also be turned around. That is why we have deployed a knowledgeable individual like Dr. Nasipi Moya as a deputy mayor there. So ex-ActionSA, we are committing that if you give us the mandate on the 29th of May this month, rest assured that within the 100 days of our government, we'll report progress, and only progress will be reported within 100 days. Thank you very much.
Thank you, incoming Premier of Gauteng, the Premier who will deliver services for our people, the Premier that when he takes power, we hit the ground running. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for Mr. Fix-It, our President, Ntate Herman Mashaba, to address us. Ntate Herman Mashaba, the incoming President of South Africa, who is going to fix it so that when we stand anywhere or when we wake up anywhere, we feel safe. We are not scared of being raped as women. We are not scared of being hijacked. We are not scared of being killed. Mr. Fix-It, please come to the podium.
Shebela mahala, utawa kipilu, iyo tumela, Amen, Mashaba, Dumela. Amen, Mashaba, Dumela. Dumela. Leaders, you are asked to come closer, please, as the President is about to address us. Please come closer. Thank you so much.
Dumelang batho ba Ivory Park. Dumelang fellow South Africans. Dumelang batho ba Gauteng. I think let us really be grateful to God for saving the lives of our two leaders here. You know, last night I attended an event and I had my phone in the pocket. And because it was on silent, I could really feel something was just not right because it kept on vibrating. But unfortunately, we were live streaming, I therefore could not attend to what seemed to really be an urgent matter. Upon leaving, then the team rushed to me to give me the terrible news. I wish I was dreaming. Like I was really right now, wish I was dreaming with the 30 years of nightmare of the new democratic dispensation. But let us be grateful that whatever happened to them, God spared their lives, which is the most important thing. The car and everything else that went, we can always work for. But you can imagine the harrowing experience we went through. And I'd obviously like to really convey our greatest gratitude to the South African Police Services leadership for immediately taking the matter seriously. We know we've got challenges with our police. And it's not their fault, and we must understand this. Police, anywhere in the world where they fail, they don't really fail because police are naturally corrupt. Our police is failing today in this country because this country is led by criminals. The political leadership behind our country is criminal. So therefore, what can you expect from the men and women who are supposed to be protecting you and I? But yes, last night, I've got hope in the South African police services that come the 29th of May this year, when South Africans go to the polls and usher in a new political leadership for this country that can lead our law enforcement agencies to do their work without any fear or favor, without any political interference. It is for that reason for us as ActionSA, during our policy conference from the 12th to the 14th of September last year, we took some tough decisions. And I'm grateful to you, actioners, in the manner in which we dealt with the issue of the law and order, the issue of the rule of law. Because if you want to destroy a nation, destroy the rule of law. For us as ActionSA, for that reason, what we are saying is we'll do away with the parole. We'll do away with parole for serious crimes. 4 categories of crimes that I believe we must never show any mercy, no sympathy. We must never show any sympathy or mercy to corrupt politicians and business people. This must be declared as crime against humanity. Because when politicians and business people are corrupt, they don't just really rob me. I've already paid my taxes. They rob people of Ivory Park, people of Amanskral where I was born, people of Soweto. They deprive them of provision of basic services. Categories of narcotics. There's drug dealers, international drug dealers, where we've opened our borders to get them to think they must come here, destroy our youth, destroy our families and our way of life. And we expect them to keep quiet. For us as ActionSA, we say no. We are not going to keep quiet. No one is going to silence us. No one is going to silence us to talk about these issues. We are not going to allow international crime syndicates, particularly on the narcotics, to come and destroy our youth, our families, and our way of life. When someone gets life under ActionSA, life is going to mean life. Murderers, fellow South Africans, there's another category. Are you aware this country of ours today, homicide, genocide is happening? 86 of us are being killed each and every day. No country in the world has ever experienced this kind of government unleashing murderers to come and murder you and I. You and I have got a chance of being murdered in South Africa than anywhere in the world. And we expected to say things are normal. When government fails to protect our lives, government can deprive me of water, government can deprive me of electricity, but government that fails to protect our lives, no country in the world deserves such a government. No community, no country in the world deserves such a government. So we need to really deal with such crimes. Rapists. In a country where our women are subjected to men, South African men or some international, where we are a rape capital of the world. I said the other day, on Saturday, when we were addressing police reservists, listening to how they were treated, and one of the reservists, the woman from Mpumalanga, relating to us, sharing with us her experiences of a 9-year-old daughter being raped. The perpetrator known. because she was a vocal activist in the police force. The police are refusing to prosecute this case. And I got really very angry. And I am angry to say no, this rapist must also be dealt with. That is why as ActionSA, I'm really very proud that I'm surrounded by actioners, men and women, South Africans, who are saying we must never show sympathy or mercy. Don't come and tell me about Ubuntu. I must show Ubuntu to a murderer, to a rapist, to a drug dealer. I don't want to live side by side with such animals. I don't want to live side by side with such animals. And one thing for sure is that we're not only talking about parole. They've got to pay back to society. Under ActionSA, your taxes, your limited resources going into government as taxes will never be used to go and provide food and accommodation to such criminals. They're going to pay back to society. They themselves are going to build prisons in the Kalahari next to fertile soils. Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, they're going to work the land of this country to provide you with vegetables and build the infrastructure. We cannot live in a country where last night I was addressing a community, ECD centers and practitioners, where this government spends, what, 17 rands a day for a child who's supposed to be in an ECD center, but spend over 333 for a prisoner each day. This will not happen under ActionSA government. These prisoners are not going to cost you the taxpayer a cent. In fact, they are going to work to pay us as society. We will take this money to capacitate ECD practitioners to ensure that our children get the right education at the early stage of their development. So that every child in this country, whether they live here in Ivory Park or they live in Kwamashu or Soweto or anywhere in Mamelodi, every child must get the best education ever. So, fellow South Africans, let it start here in Gauteng. The Gauteng is there for the taking. Let Lesotho Panyaza be the last premier under ANC in South Africa. I joined politics in 2016. I left my business precisely to unseat, at the time, Pakistan. I took a decision, conscious decision at the time. I had no idea what a mayor does. When I was invited to be a mayoral candidate, I did not know what the mayor does. But I said, criminals, if these thieves, if these corrupt people can do it, I can do it 10 times better. I was committed to unseating the ANC in the city of Johannesburg. And Funzi can tell you how Jeff Makubu used to hate me, because he knew my determination to remove the ANC democratically from government. And I am determined right now. We are determined as ActionSA to remove them in Gauteng. Because if we remove them from Gauteng, which is the economic hub of this country, then we would have neutralized them. And under the leadership of Funzi, I have every confidence in the world that we will turn this country around. We will turn this country around for people of South Africa through using Gauteng as a vehicle to ensure that we can provide a better future for all our children. So Funzi, you've got a huge responsibility. And one thing that I want to call upon the residents of the voters of Gauteng, please, not for us as ActionSA, not for Funzi, not for Herman Mashaba, not for ActionSA. Do it for yourself. Get ActionSA to be the government. Get ActionSA to be the government. We are happy if you don't give us outright majority. We'll work with other parties. But if you don't want us to to tamper with our policies, because if we go into a coalition, you can imagine we have to accommodate other parties, and we are prepared to, in the event voters don't give us outright majority, but we are fighting to get outright majority, and we are calling on you residents of Johannesburg, give us outright majority if you want service delivery, because we are committed. We are not in this game to be friends with Funzi or Hlupi. We are in this game to govern, and govern better than anyone else has ever governed this country. And we are committed to that project. So thank you so much, Actioners. It is really a privilege to be doing this brutal job. The job that I'm sure sometimes people think I'm joking when I tell them I hate this job. And people ask me, but if you hate this job, Eben, why do you do it? Now you see why I have to do it. I have to do it because I don't want to live in a country which is known all over the world to be the meta capital of the world. I don't want to live in a country with such potential to have the highest sustainable unemployment rate in the world, destroy the lives of our youth when we can do something about it. I'm not prepared to be an armchair critic. I want to really live a life of purpose. As much as I hate this job, it's one of the most rewarding jobs that God can ever give one the privilege. It's actually a privilege to do this job. And I feel really humbled, and I really want to thank you, Actioners and people of South Africa, for giving me this opportunity at my age to serve my country. They can unleash their former presidents who are directly responsible for the mess we are in. Let them go out. Let them go out and tell our people that they will revive and renew the ANC. The very same people that have destroyed the lives of our youth. We South Africans are not going to be that stupid. South Africans are not going to be that stupid. Because I cannot really tell a 30-year-old youth in this country that their lives are better under the ANC government over the last 30 years. Someone who's not worked, someone who's not had the right type of education. A mother or father who's not worked for the last 30 years and witnessed the city of Johannesburg turned into a slum. By this government opening our borders, allowing everyone to do as they please. It's not going to happen under ActionSA. We can assure you, South Africans, we are going to close our borders. We are going to make sure that people of the world come here to South Africa, help us redevelop our country. But they must come here legally, and when they're here, they must respect our laws. They must come and invest in our country. We want investments. We want foreign direct investment. But one thing we are saying to people of the world, please don't bring US dollars through mattresses and sofas. We've got the Reserve Bank. Bring money through the Reserve Bank. You must account how the money came into the country. We can't be led by people who are involved in money laundering. And we are expected to accept that as normal. No, the ANC expect us to accept nonsense as normal. We must reject this, fellow South Africans. Because if we do accept that, our children and their children will pay a very serious price. And let's really ensure that we can bring back the rule of law. We can protect you. We can have the law enforcement agencies that can protect you and I, and protect the future generation, and bring in a prosperous South Africa. Because the one thing that I'm very clear about is that a prosperous South Africa and an ANC government cannot coexist in one space. One of them has got to die, and it cannot be South Africa that has got to die. So thank you very much, Funzi and Hlupi. We must really be grateful for the work that God does in the background. We prayed very hard as South Africans last night because we had no control. We didn't really know what to do, but one thing for sure is that we relied on prayer. and God really answered us. So thank you so much. And come the 29th, 10 days later, we want you to invite us to the inauguration when we inaugurate you as the first non-ANC premier in Gauteng since 1994. Thank you very much, fellow South Africans. Let's make that happen. Let's call on our families, our fellow South Africans to go out and vote ActionSA on the 29th of May. Thank you so much.